Hi, everybody. How are you doing today? I hope everybody is doing wonderful. Today, I want to talk for a few minutes and then I'm going to show some short clips of some things that I think you need to see. But mainly, I'm going to do some talking. I really need people to hear me and hear this message. First of all, I've wondered for a very long time, why is it that it's become to the point where any politician, whether it be the president, governors, senators, and so on, can lie and get away with it? When did they start being able to feed you a bunch of BS and still get to hold their positions? You know, the whole point of putting a government into effect was honesty and to take care of the people. Now it went from small lies to, maybe I promised this, but I'm only going to do a little bit of it, to absolute bull-faced lies. And if you won on bull-faced lies, you should be removed, because that is not what you told the people you were going to do. Why is it that everybody out there is okay with the people who are supposed to be looking out for our best interest to lie to us? That absolutely has to be handled with every position, but especially our president. If our president was voted in because he led the people to believe, and I mean any position, but mainly, again, the president, they led the people to believe that certain things were going to be done, certain things were going to be taken care of, certain things were going to be handled. That is the reason why you were voted in. And then once you're in, then you don't do any of it, and then you do everything the opposite and destroy our nation with all the horrible choices you are making. And I'm not just talking about Biden, but that's the main one right now. I'm talking about many even in the past. If you're voted in for certain promises or actions that you have promised to act on and handle, and you don't, and again, if it's not one of our presidents, it's, a governor, senator, whatever, in a certain area, and you do the opposite than what the people are asking you to do in that area, then you're not doing your job. See, the main problem is not only these government officials, but I'll say probably half or more people have forgotten that they work for us. They're supposed to do what's best for the people. And that is not being done, nor has it been done in a very, very, very long time. And if we don't correct this, it's only going to get worse. They use and abuse the positions. They use and abuse the money. They use and abuse this false sense of power that they've entitled themselves to. And again, it's time that we, the people, stand up and fix it. And I mean, fix it now. Because it's already out of hand. It's already too corrupted and abused. And again, these seats were not made to be sat in for periods of time like 20 years. These seats were made to sit in temporarily for a short amount of time to do what you think you can do is best for the people. And we've discussed this, or I've discussed this before with you guys. But they don't. They don't sit in the seat and then let somebody else be voted in or even allow that to happen anymore. They actually block that from happening so they can stay in these positions. That is how deep the corruption runs, is that they will want to stay in their position, or their friends will want them to stay in that position because it helps them in whatever agenda they've got going on. So they will make it to where nobody can or will run against them. And with nobody able to do that, we can't vote somebody new in. The rules have to change. You must, I believe, only get no more than 4 years like a president or less. And if you don't do the job, you cannot run again. If you do your job and the people are happy with you, then you can run again. And it's got to be based on honesty and working for the people, not against the people, which is all we've seen for years. Corruption, working against the people, stealing our money. And again, same with the stocks. The stocks aren't made for the people. The stocks are made for corruption, to steal our money. So we invest, and the stockholders and the people that are running this scam are basically setting it up to where you won't win. You'll be lucky if you do. But it's made for them to win, as people have been proven for years, but mainly in the last year, it is really off the charts and proven exactly what they'll do, even when it's out in the open, to corrupt the stock trade. And especially with Nancy Pelosi and her husband and their insider information, which is insider trading, and they both and all involved should be in prison already for. But again, these people don't get punished, and we're going to get into that in a little bit as well. First, I want to go over, again, we've seen the stocks being played with this year, where when they should be going up, they're not. It's being stopped, and they're holding the stocks lower than they should be. They're selling fake shares. There's a bunch of stuff being done in the dark end of things. And again, everybody knows now it's out there. And is it being stopped? Is anything being done? Again, no correction, no punishment, no changes. What are we still doing with this government in effect and allowing this to continue? Again, on top of the stocks, we have the hidden money where they're hiding money overseas. I have a whole clip on that, but I don't know if I'm going to put it in or not, depending on the time. Or I'll add it into my next video. Again, they have the offshore accounts in many different countries. They have used the nonprofit organizations to not have to pay taxes on different events or levels of money that they're managing. There is so much dirtiness and corruption, and it's all about taking from the people, hiding their money, and then using it against the people. Just like with our taxes, they collect it and use it against us, which is another problem. All the tax money that they tax us for is supposed to go back in to our schools, our roads, our counties. That's what it says, even on my housing tax. It's supposed to go to things in my area for our area. And yet, none of our money is going towards that anymore. It's going to whatever agenda is on hand for whoever has our money. That is not okay. They don't have the right to take our money and do different things with it when it's supposed to be for the things that it's collected for. But yet, people have allowed them to get away with that for so long, so they just keep on doing it, all the way up to now sending it over to a Wuhan lab, letting it be used against us. And for what? To make viruses that should never even be made, should never even be tampered with. And then they sit in Congress and they don't even do their jobs because supposedly they can't because of the virus. You've got Zoom, you got this, you got that. I've got Congress people saying that we're being paid right now, and we're not even using the Congress office. We're not even, having meetings. We're not even sitting in and having debates on how to fix anything. But we're being paid to. We haven't had meetings in weeks, months. But again, the people just sit and take it. What is wrong with you Americans? I watch these other people in these other countries fight like hell for their freedom and their rights, as Americans used to. And I don't see anything going on here. I see people just going, yeah, okay, abuse me, steal from me, keep me poor, keep me in line. And then hopefully soon you'll enslave me and have total control over me and my rights and my body and my children. Wake up, Americans. Come on. It's time to put a stop to this. And there are some situations where I've given you, where they need to be fixed. But that's not the case. What needs to happen is we need to dismantle and rebuild. And then in some of the suggestions, they need to be used. But I don't believe if we keep the government in effect the way it is now, that anything will ever change. I don't care, again, who you put in what seat, because the power has already went to these people's heads. They have been there too long. They are too corrupt. It's got to be dismantled and rebuilt, and with a lot more rules and regulations that need to be added, especially when you're supposed to be voted in on honesty and truth and what you really want to happen and what you're really going to do for the people. Not like Joe Biden, who bluntly showed us that that is not the case. He's going to promise you everything that you want to hear and do the complete opposite. And again, on the other side, the other side's not much different. And I'm going to say something, and please keep listening. Even if you don't agree, keep listening and hear me out. Because I'm not Republican or Democrat or any of it anymore. I'm choosing right or wrong because, again, there's too much corruption out there. But I have seen one person step in and try to show America the truth and wake people up and stop horrific crimes that are going on in America. And that is, of course, Trump. He may not be the person that you want him to be, or maybe you don't even know because you only see what this fake agendaed media has showed you. You haven't seen the truth. And to see the truth, you really have to dig because they hide the truth. And this is where I have talked about what happened to honesty. To write a news report, you used to have to be honest, and now you don't. To be in the government, you had to be honest, now you don't. That is the problem in our world today. That is why there is so much corruption. That is why there are so many problems. And that is why we are where we are today. This needs to be changed. And again, the corrupt people are not going to change it. And it's time that the people get in line and start asking for what is right to be done. And we need to make changes to this government or dismantle it completely, like I believe, and rebuild it in the way it should be. That is honestly the best option that we could have right now. Now, I'm, again, not saying either side is right. I'm not saying, totally that the Republican side is right, because they are doing things in some areas that I don't agree with. That's why I can't say one side or the other is any better. There has to be a common ground, and things have to be done right. Now, was Trump getting us there? Yes. He may not be the full answer, and then again, he may be. But I don't believe that anybody should have any kind of power or control to violate the people's rights, because it does not exist. But it seems that certain people have let, I don't know, craziness and fake power go to their head, where they think they have the right to stomp all over the people's rights. That has got to be handled now and stopped now. And again, there's ways to do it, but why haven't our Republicans stepped in and done that? I keep waiting to see. They keep saying it's coming. That kind of does make me not trust. And I'm sure it does a lot of other people, but you can't admit it again, because then the socializing and socialism, that's where it comes in. And now you can't be one of us because you weren't with us the whole way. Now, again, I give Trump all the credit he deserves. And I believe in a lot of ways he's for the people. I don't agree with all his ways. But should he be in there helping America get it right? Sure. And so should a lot of other people with the right intentions. And that's where Americans need to figure it out on who we're going to put in there and how we're going to rebuild it. Now, I've already went over the crops. There's a whole video on that. Now, I'm going to just real quickly go over this. Now, for one, they used to kill our crops to keep prices high, which was wrong to begin with. That shouldn't even be an excuse or reason to kill crops. Now they've taken it to, we are going to kill the crops to start starvation, so that we can say we have the power because we can kill off your food, we can withhold your food. Now you're enslaved. Again, it has to be handled and dealt with. It has to be stopped. These people should not have this kind of power and control over the American people that they are trying to give themselves, because it's a crime against the people. It's a crime against humanity. And for every decision that has been made to withhold food, to destroy food, to hike up prices, to steal our money, to force us to do things that they have no rights to even try to enforce, or make mandates that they shouldn't even be allowed to, again, make, because it is against the people. They are not the boss. They are not the one in control, even though they've tried to spin it that way for many years. And the people have, kind of just allowed it to happen. It's now came to a head, and it now needs to be fixed. And these people need to be charged on every offense that they have committed against the people, and every crime that they have committed against the people and America. And again, these people usually do not see any kind of punishments. They are never held accountable for anything. And that needs to change. It's not okay that they think because I'm in this position in government, or I'm running for vice president, or I'm running for president, that I am entitled to do whatever I want. And I can never be held accountable. I will never be charged. I will never face any punishment for my crimes. No, that is wrong. Anybody in America, no matter who you are, how much money you have, or what position you are in, you have to be held accountable. You have to be punished for your crimes. And again, we, the people, need to make that happen. I don't know how many times I'm going to have to say this till it gets through all of the people's heads that it hasn't got through yet, but I will keep saying it because it has to happen. If it doesn't, people, nothing in this world is going to get better. It's only going to get worse. And if you're not paying attention to what's going on in the world right now, you better start, because it's bad. And you need to stop watching all these TV shows they put on, or slow down for a minute or two during your day and start looking into things, because again, that's the way they made it to keep you from paying attention. And you people need to start paying attention, because again, we are at a critical point in our lives and in the world that people need to be paying attention and looking for the truth and stop being fooled by the lies. Please, people, you have to start waking up and looking at reality. And whether you want to face it or not, again, you need to. A lot of you guys want to bury your heads in the sand and say, if I can't see it, it's not true. No, you need to see it. And again, the main one is pride. Some of you are too prideful to admit you are wrong. Listen, everybody's wrong sometime in life. So just let it go and do what's right. It's not about sides anymore. It's about right or wrong. And what's going on is very wrong. And it's everywhere. I'd be surprised, unless you are not watching TV or on social media, that you can say you don't know some part of it. And if you know some part, you better figure out it all, because it all plays into a very dark tomorrow. Now we're going to talk about our military and the people, the two most important groups on this planet. It's all about the people and our military, who are our loved ones, okay? The government has now proven that they don't care about us. They don't care about our military. And if you watched my last video, you will see some of the clips I put in there about how they want to strip our military of everything they've worked for because they don't agree with something they've said or somewhere they've been. No matter if they put in 17, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, it doesn't matter. Because if you say something that they don't agree with, or you show up somewhere they don't agree with, they can take everything from you that you've worked for your whole life. And with that kind of job, that is very, very disgusting, because not only did you work your ass off for it, but you gave a lot more. You may have possibly given up your mind, PTSD. You might have given up your body parts. You may have given up your life. And yet, that means nothing to them if you do something they don't like. No one should be able to strip away 20 years or less or more, it doesn't matter, but of your life from you because they disagree with something. You've worked for it, it's yours. If they want to fire you, that's on them. But again, it shouldn't be allowed. You should not be able to be fired for any stupid reason. And again, these are the people who go out there and put their lives on the lines for all of us to make sure that we are all safe and stay safe and protect our country. Again, while these government people sit in their very expensive offices and homes and lives safely tucked away, or in our because we paid for them, our underground tunnels, bunkers, basement areas, everything that we have paid for, they're hiding in there, playing it safe, just like they're taking our money to make them bunkers so that if anything happens, they're safe while we're left to die. So again, I could keep going on and on about this, but I don't want to keep making this longer and longer. We'll talk about it more in another video. But again, so that we are left to die. We are the ones that it doesn't matter what happens to us while they use our money, our items, our buildings to keep themselves safe. How do you feel about that, Americans? Really, you really need to think about it. Because if you haven't watched several of my last videos, you better start watching backwards. Because I tell you about their billion-dollar bunkers. Where do you think they got that money? From us. While they play Russian roulette with all of our lives, poking the bears of other countries and pulling out of Afghanistan and leaving Americans behind, and along with our money that we not only left there in military gear, but then sent them more of our money. The ones who are giving it all to them are also using our money to build them safe homes and bunkers for when everything goes wrong. But yet we will be left out to die. See, that money should be building all of us safe homes, not just them, because again, they're the employees. Think about that, Americans. And then again, the most important one is using our loved ones, our family members, the military, to do the dirty work that sometimes is not even necessary. It's just because they need another war. So who gets to go and fight it? Our loved ones. Not theirs, ours. While again, they use our money to live luxury lifestyles and build safe bunkers for them. What are you and me, the people, getting out of all this corruption? Absolutely nothing. And it just keeps getting worse. Wake up and see the truth. Now, before I go on to this other clip, if you're on YouTube, I have to cut this part out. So to see the whole video, you're going to have to go over to Rumble to see the rest of this clip. You definitely want to see it. So join me on Rumble.